Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Rough night last night, so you gotta bear with me. The largest attack on Moscow occurred last night, and the largest drone attack on Russia occurred last night. Over 300 drones attacked Russia, and more than 70 drones attacked Moscow. That's the first topic of this video. The second topic, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, comes out and says what we knew already. Ukraine will have to give up some of the territory to the Russians. I mean, it was clear that would happen, and the Russians will never go back unless they have some traitors in the Kremlin, which they don't. So I have here about, to be exact, 8 articles, 7 related to the attacks on Moscow and on Russia, and 1 related to Marco Rubio. So let's start with the first one. This comes from Ukrinform. Russia reports large-scale attack by over 300 drones. The Russian Ministry of Defense says overnight, Tuesday, March 11, Russia was attacked by hundreds of drones, 337, of which were allegedly shot down. According to the ministry report, Russia shot down 91 drones over Moscow region. 91 drones over Moscow region. That is exactly here. This is Ukraine, obviously. And then you go northeast, or if you want north, Moscow region, 91. Then 126 over Kursk region, 126 over Kursk region. This is on its way right there. Kursk over here, where the offensive, the invasion of Russia occurs, continues. So 126. Then 38 over Bryansk. So Bryansk is right here, northwest of Kursk. Then we have 25 over Belgorod, which is right here, in here. And then we have 22 over Ryazan region and 10 over Kaluga. So Ryazan and Kaluga. So these guys, Kaluga right here, Ryazan right here. So they are obviously going this way towards Moscow. They want to kill Putin or what? What else these guys are saying? Also, UAVs were allegedly intercepted over Lipetsk, Oryol, Voronezh, and Nizhny Novgorod regions. So these are all in this area, and this right here, towards Moscow. And I'm not going to play the videos, because YouTube doesn't like me to do that. Ukrainska Pravda. Moscow claims hundreds of drones targeted Russia overnight. 337 UAVs reportedly downed. And again, the same number. Gonna go to New Voice of Ukraine. Drone attack hits Moscow suburbs, disrupts flights, videos. At least 73 drones flying towards Moscow were reportedly shot down over the Russian capital suburbs overnight. Question for those Slava Ukraini defenders. Suburbs, what does it mean suburbs? What do you hit over there? I think that mostly you hit civilians. Is an attack on civilians against international law. So it doesn't mean that 2 wrongs make a right, but I want the beak a little bit smaller when these guys are reporting the Russians hitting the, the civilian population of Ukraine. Should be no war in Ukraine, but since it is because the big interests want it, we have it, or they have it. So 73 drones shot down over Russia's suburbs. 7 apartments in a residential building were damaged in the towns of Vidnoye and Domodedovo. Today at 4 a.m., a massive drone attack on Moscow and Moscow Oblast began. Regional government Andrei Vorobyev wrote on social media. At this moment, we know that 1 dead and 3 wounded in the Lenitsky, Vidnoye, and Domodedovo district. Also, the debris of the drones fell on apartment buildings in Remenskoye, where at least 7 apartments from the 19th to the 22nd floors were damaged. That was just however you want to look at it. So apartment buildings, fantastic success for these guys. Ukrainska Pravda, largest drone attack on Moscow. 74 UAVs allegedly downed. Russian officials claimed that Moscow was attacked by dozens of drones on the night of 10 to 11 March, with 69 drones allegedly being downed by the morning. So 69 downed and 74. So what? We got 5 drones that hit targets and debris and so on, according to these guys. These guys reported that air defense downed almost 70 drones by 6 a.m. All right, next one. Russia Today. Let's see what the Russians are saying. Russian defense is down 337 Ukrainian drones. Ukraine launched its biggest ever overnight raid on Moscow, the city's mayor has said. Another Kremlin. And they tell us the same information here, how many were down over Kursk and so on. Let's see what else. The victims, we're not going to go over that. And next one. Moscow targeted by dozens of Ukrainian drones. So 3 injured, killed, 69 drones heading towards the capital have been destroyed by air defenses. So 69 destroyed, 74 altogether. All right. And here is again from Russia Today. Russia repels Kiev's largest ever drone raid on Moscow civilian sites. What we know so far, the record assault unfolded ahead of US-Ukraine talks in Saudi Arabia, where Washington will pressure for peace. They will not pressure for anything, they will impose peace. Okay, so the same information, 74 drones, 69 hit, 337 launched, or neutralized at least. And we go to the second topic, coming again from Russia Today. This is 10 March 2025. Ukraine will have to give up territory, Rubio says. Moscow has long insisted that any potential peace deal should recognize the quote-unquote realities on the ground. Ukraine will have to relinquish its goal of reclaiming former territories in order to facilitate peace negotiations with Russia, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has indicated, and I'm quoting, obviously, it will be very difficult for Ukraine in any reasonable time period to sort or force the Russians back all the way to where they were in 2014, Rubio said, according to the New York Times. The most important things that we have to leave here with is a strong sense that Ukraine is prepared to do difficult things. Ukraine, not Russia. Just as the Russians are going to have to do difficult things to end this conflict, like what? Or at least pause it in some way, shape, or form. I think both sides need to come to an understanding that there is no military solution to this situation. It's interesting. The guys who were behind all this, with the overthrow of Viktor Yanukovych's government, democratically elected and legitimate, in 2014, they come here and they play the peacemakers. That's exactly what I said a long time ago. The Americans, when NATO will be incapable of destroying Russia, they will realize that this attempt failed. They will appear to be like, we didn't lose. We actually are the guys who, come on people, come on, make peace. They're going to be the peacemakers. When actually they are the ones who came into Ukraine. They created the whole BS, including, as I said, 2014. And the United States of America will be seen as the great peacemaker. No, the whole thing came from the United States of America with Victoria Nuland, remember, in 2013, 2014, and the Maidan, so-called. So don't give me that. Don't buy that one. Regarding the attack on Russia, well, what do you expect? Do you think these guys will respect international law? It's a war, my friend. In a war, if someone attacks you and you can blow the shit out of that guy, you're not going to say, oh, let me get the Geneva Convention. Stay a little bit there. Is it allowed or not? I will queue up. And the same thing over there. And in this situation, why did they attack Moscow? It's because of to show that Kiev can still have a say in the peace agreements. Kiev will be informed, and if the Russians will ever allow the guys from Kiev, the non-Ukrainians from Kiev, to come to the negotiating table, they will have no say. They will not be asked. They will be told. Regarding Marco Rubio, it was obvious. It was obvious that the Russians will not give up anything. After all, they had referenda in Donbass and Crimea. What do you want? And if you have any problem with that, let me know what referendum was held in Kosovo. Right, so these guys broke one country, Yugoslavia. At that time it was Yugoslavia and Montenegro, I think, and they took Kosovo and they created something over there now, and is not recognized. It's recognized by about 104 countries in the world. But nevertheless, here it is, largest attack, successful, I would say, successful. And the other thing, it's clear they have to do it. What will the Russians will fulfill their 4 reasons why they entered Ukraine. I know it's unprovoked, I know it was unjustifiable, but they still have 4 justifications. 1, denazification, but let's start with the other one, demilitarization. NATO, not there, demilitarization, denazification, and we're gonna keep what we took. Why? We're not gonna afford you killing our ethnic Russians in Ukraine anymore. That's it. And we got in there, and by the way, the Russians claim that even Kiev should come to Russia. So half of Ukraine should be Russian, maybe 1/4 on the west should go to Poland. Let me show you actually how this thing could play out. Remember, this country, however you like it or not, was made up of from other countries. All this is claimed by Russia right here. This right here is Romania, right here. This is claimed by the Hungarians right here. The Slovakians don't claim shit. And then we have the Poles right here who claim, I mean, if you go by the Poles, they claim all from here to there, right there. All this, they claim all this. Maybe part of Romania too. I mean, but they will probably claim Lviv and Lutsk, this area right here. I mean, if you look at historical evidence, you're going to find out Ukraine was given by Stalin in this case. Stalin gave them a lot of things. Anyway, Stalin was not Russian. Put that in your head. He was a Gruzian. He was a Georgian. And there was not the Russians, it was the Soviets. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.